We are doing mixed review for our test next week over adding, subtracting, and multiplying polynomials. So be sure and look closely at each question, see what they're asking you to do, see what the operation is. Which expression is equivalent to, and here they give you this lovely long thing here, and I see a parentheses with a plus sign, parentheses, and a plus sign, and a parentheses. So all these lovely polynomials are being added. So again, all you do is distribute to get rid of parentheses, and then combine like terms. So think about what number is sitting here in front of this parentheses, a positive 1. When you multiply by positive 1, did anything change in here? No. So you can rewrite it or just pretend that parentheses are gone. What number is in front of this parentheses? Again, a positive 1 because you're adding. So if you multiply by a positive 1, does anything change? No, it's still negative 5x squared, still negative 1. Third parentheses, is there also a positive 1 sitting in front of this one? Yes, and when you multiply by positive 1, does anything change? So you can either rewrite them all without the parentheses, or you can just pretend the parentheses are not there, and we're just going to combine like terms. So remember, x squareds go with x squareds, x to the first power go to x's to the first powers, and constants go with constants. So I see an x squared here, not an x squared, not an x squared. Ooh, here's another x squared, not an x squared, not an x squared. So these are the only two that go together with the x squareds. So 3 plus a negative 5 is a negative 2x squareds. So not negative 2x squared, not negative 2x squared, so cross those off. Negative 2x squared, not a negative 2x squared. There's no other x squareds in there, right? So it is B, and that's it. You could go ahead and check all the other pieces if you want to, but on a multiple choice test, probably not necessary, but if you've got plenty of time, I would double check it. Which of the following is equivalent to this expression? So again, I see all these lovely parentheses, subtraction, addition. So we're just going to distribute whatever number is right in front of the parentheses and get rid of the parentheses so we can combine like terms. What number is in front of this one? Positive 1. When you multiply everything by positive 1, does anything change? No. So you can either rewrite it or pretend the parentheses are gone. Now this one has a 1 sitting in front of it, but it's not a positive 1, it's a negative 1. When you multiply by a negative 1, do these change? Yes. So we need to rewrite these for sure. This is no longer a positive 6x squared, it's now negative 6x squared. This is no longer positive, it's now a negative 3x. And this is no longer negative, it's now a positive 5. So that one has been rewritten, and I'm going to get rid of the old stuff so I don't use them by accident. Now, what number is sitting in front of this parentheses? Positive 1. When I multiply, does anything change? No. So I'm just going to pretend like I've rewritten these, parentheses are gone, I've rewritten those, parentheses are gone. So let's start with our highest exponent, which is a 2. So I have x squareds here. No x squareds, no x squareds. Here's an x squared. No x squared, no x squared, no x squared, no x squared. So it's just these two. 3x squared minus 6x squared. Well, 3 minus 6 is a negative 3x squareds. So, yep, I'm going to keep that one. Nope, cross that one off. Yep, keep that one. No, cross that one off. So, let's go check the x's now. I've got a positive 6, I've got a negative 3, and a positive 2. So if you go put in the calculator 6 minus 3 plus 2. And if you want to do all adding, you could do 6 plus a negative 3 plus 2 and see what you get. If I'm going to do this way, this is going to be a positive 3 plus 2. That gives you should get a 5x. So there's a positive 5. This is a positive 11. So which one is it? It is that one. If you have forgotten to change that sign, I bet you would have gotten an 11 on that one. Okay. A store company is going to close one of its 2 stores and combine all the inventory from both stores. These polynomials represent the inventory of each store. So this is the inventory of store A. This is the inventory of store B. Which expression represents the combined inventory of the 2 stores? So what does the word combine mean? If you've got $2 and your friend has $8, combined, how much money do y'all have? You're going to add it to get $10, right? So combine means you are adding. And what do I always tell you to put around polynomials? Parentheses. And you're going to put a plus sign, right? And then you would rewrite the second polynomial up here and there. So these two are being added together, right, with parentheses. What number is in front of this parentheses? A positive 1. When you distribute, does anything change? No. Is there a positive 1 here? And when you distribute, nothing changes? So we're just combining like terms. So x squareds go with x squareds, x's go with x's, and plain numbers go with plain numbers. So here's a 1/2 x squared, and here's a 3x squared. So in your calculator, put 3 plus 1/2 and see what you get. It will probably tell you 3.5. So 3.5x squared. I think it's going to do it in decimals. So 3.5x squared. Now there are no other plain x's, so you're going to have a minus 4/5 x in the middle. And if you want to rule some off as we go, now this is 3.5x squared, but they don't have that. They left these as fractions. So you could put 7/2 in your calculator and see what you get. 7/2 in the calculator, see what it's equal to. All of these say 7/2. And if you put 7/2 in the calculator and hit Control Enter, it's going to tell you 3.5. So all of these are the same as 3.5. The middle piece should still be negative 4/5 x. Negative 4/5, that one says positive, so get rid of it. Negative 4/5, yes, positive, get rid of it. Now the last fraction on the end, because I still had two answers to choose from, I have, is that 7/2? Yeah, 7/2 plus 1/4. Just put those in the calculator. Control divide 7/2 plus control divide 1/4. Hit enter. It's probably going to give you some decimal answer. And whatever that decimal answer is, put these fractions in the calculator and see if it matches it. See if 15/4 matches that decimal answer, or if 4/3 matches that decimal answer. So literally in the calculator, 7/2 plus 1/4. It's going to give you some decimal answer, probably something that looks like 3 point something. I can't remember what it's going to be, but 3 point something, right? And then, so you put 15/4 in the calculator and you put 4/3 in the calculator and see which one gives you a 3 point something answer that matches it. And if you do that, you should get A that matches it. So know how to use your calculator, that TI Nspire. Which expression is equivalent to this thing? So again, we're just simplifying. So I see some numbers not in parentheses, I see some parentheses, and so we will always want to do is get rid of parentheses and combine like terms. So what number's right in front of this one? That's a positive 1. So when I multiply by positive 1, does anything change? No, but the parentheses are now gone. So this is just a positive 4x, if you want to rewrite it, minus 6x squared, and that piece is gone. But it's still the same. They didn't change. But this one, what number's right in front of it? This is a negative 1. So this is going to change to a negative 6x and a negative 3. So make sure you get rid of those because they have changed. So go through now, and we can start with the x squareds. I think they're the biggest ones. So I have an x squared here, no x squared. Here's an x squared. So 2 minus 4 is a negative 6. Any more x squareds? No? I said negative 6. I just said that wrong. 2 minus 6 is a negative 4. So I should have a negative 4x squared. That one has it. That one does not. This one has it. That one does not. So the x squareds match on A and B. Now let's go do x's. I have... Oh, did I miss it? No, I did that one. Okay, I did those. Here's my x's. Sorry. So I should cross this off since I rewrote this one. I keep looking at it and it confuses me. So here's an x, and there's an x, and that's it. So I have 4 minus 6, and 4 minus 6 is a negative 2x. There's a negative 2x. They both have negative 2x. So let's go look at the numbers. I have a positive 9 minus 3. 9 minus 3 is 6, so it should be this positive 6 over here. It is not a positive 12. All right, so make sure if you're distributing a positive 1, nothing changes. If you're distributing a negative 1, rewrite those numbers inside that polynomial or inside those parentheses to the opposite signs. The diagram shows the floor plan of a storage facility. All dimensions are given in feet. So here's my length, here's my width. Notice that these are lovely polynomials. Which expression represents the area of the storage? How do you find area? You need to have these formulas memorized by now. Area of a rectangle is the space inside here. Perimeter is the distance walking around the outside of it. I literally walk the perimeter. And when I walk the perimeter, I'm adding up all the sides. I am not doing that. I want to know how much area is inside here. I want to know how much space is in here. So this is length times width. So I'm going to multiply these two things together. So I need to rewrite them. Make sure you always put parentheses around this. So 5x plus 4. So when you're doing math with these things, put parentheses around them. So this is a multiplication problem. Binomial times binomial, it's a double distribution. 4 times 5 is 20x squared. 4 times 4 is 16, so 16x. Then I'm going to come back and multiply negative times positive. That gives me a negative 20x. And when I multiply a negative 4 times a positive 4, I get a negative 16. So these two middle pieces are going to come together, but the first is a 20x squared, so I'm going to get rid of this one, and I'm going to get rid of that one. And the last number should be a negative 16, so now the middle piece. who's going to win? Good guys or bad guys? Bad guys are going to win. There's 4 left alive, so negative 4x. So not that one. This one has my negative 4x. There we go. So this video is going to do problems 1 through 9. So again, you can pause the video, work some problems on your own, and then check your answers as you're going along. In the next video, we'll finish off the rest of the worksheet. Which of the following is equivalent to this thing? So here I have a parentheses, and in front of it I have this negative 3x, and there's nothing between the x and the parentheses, so this is multiplication. This is a monomial, so it's just multiplying this times this, and that times that. We're just going to distribute those two pieces. So negative 3 times 1 is a negative 3x squared. So this should start with a negative 3x squared, so that's not it. That's not it. This one, these two still work. Then we multiply times the second one, so I have a negative 3x squared, and then negative 3 times positive 5 is a negative 15, and I have a single x in the answer, so negative 15x, that one works. This one does not. That one said positive, so it was D. So be careful with the signs. Check things with the calculator. Simplify the following polynomial expressions. So I see this parentheses and I see that parentheses. Is there anything between them? No, this is multiplication. So we're just going to distribute these. Now, I know normally when it's just a binomial times a binomial, we can kind of shortcut it, but I'm kind of thinking when it's 2 pieces times 3 pieces, I might want to kind of be more careful with it. So I'm going to multiply the first one times the first one. So 3 times 1 is 3, and x squared times x squared is x to the 4th. So this is 3x to the 4th. And then I'm going to multiply this 3 times the second piece. So 3 times 4 is 12, and x squared times x is x to the 3rd. So plus 12x to the 3rds. And then I'm going to multiply it times the third piece over here. So this is like, I'm still doing a double distribution, but there's 3 pieces over here. 3 times 5 is 15, and I still have an x squared with it, so plus 15x squared. Now I need to come back and multiply the second one. 2 times 1 is 2, and x times x squared is x to the 3rd because I add the exponents when I'm multiplying. So 2x to the 3rd plus 2x to the 3rds. And then I'm going to multiply it times the second piece. So 2 times 4 is 8, and x times x is x squared plus 8x. And then the last one is 2 times 5, and 2 times 5 is 10, and I still have a single x in that. So this is plus 10x. Let me run off room here, plus 10x. Oh, was that last one x or x squared? Yeah, I forgot to write the x squared. That was 8x squared. I forgot to put the little 2 out here. I knew I was forgetting something when I was writing. There we go. Now, like terms. X to the 4th, no other x to the 4th. So it needs to start off with 3x to the 4th. Yes, 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 and no. On the end, we only had the single x third, x squared. So the x thirds can go together. Those two can go together. The x squareds can go with x squareds. And there's only a single 10x on the end, right? So I need to have a 10x on the end. Yes, yes. Oh, that one, that has a 10. That's got a 5. Did I have just a plain number in here without any x's? No, so let's get rid of that one. So I've got this 10x and I got that 10x. I still need to check the middle ones. So x to the 3rd, sometimes you wind up doing the whole thing. X to the 3rd plus x to the 3rds. 12 plus 2 is 14x to the 3rds. Ooh, that one has a 14x to the 3rd. If you just want to double check the other one, 15 squareds plus the 8x squareds gives you 23x squareds, and that's true, so that is D. So just be careful, take your time on those. Which expression is equivalent to this thing? So I see this polynomial, and I look at the answers, and it looks like they made these into multiplication problems. So they look like they pulled out the GCF, and if I multiply these things together, it should equal this answer. So they didn't necessarily tell you to factor it, they just gave the answers as multiplication problems, and this is like the answer. So if you just want to distribute each one of these and see which one gives you a negative 28x squared. This gives me a negative 28 and x squared, so I'm going to keep it. If you want to, you can write that 28x squared, and it's negative. Negative times positive is also a negative 28x squared. Positive times positive is a positive 28x squared, so we're going to get rid of that one. And positive times positive also gives me that positive, so those are gone because I wanted a negative in the beginning. And then if I distribute the second time, negative 7 times negative 5 is a positive 35, and I have a single x, so that one does match. I'm thinking it's B. Check this one, negative 7 times positive 5 is a negative 35, and I don't want that, so B was the correct answer. Last one on this video, factor out the GCF of these 3 pieces, so greatest common factor. Is there any number that will go evenly into 42, 63, and 56? And if you don't know off the top of your head, look at the answers because it's multiple choice. What did they pull out? They pulled a 7 out. So all we got to do is just multiply each of these things together to see if we get this answer. So just do one distribution. 7 times 6 is 42. X squared y, x squared y. So I'm keeping this one. 7 times 6 is 42. X squared y, yep. 7 times 6 is 42, but this is x cubed y. Do I want x cubed y? No, so cross it off. 7 times 6 is 42, but this is x squared y squared. Do I have x squared y squared? No, cross that one off. So far we're just doing one distribution. We got it down to 2 answers. Now both of these have 9x, so that's not going to change anything. So let's look at the end. 7 times 16, is that 56? Or is 7 times 8 56? So put both those in the calculator, see which one gives you a 56, and it is C. There we go. So next video we'll give you the answers 10 through 15. Make sure you're checking your answers so you know if you're getting them right.